Earlier, I was thinking about the week I got diagnosed with herpes, like that first week, because I just had my birthday and it was around this time that I was about to receive the news. So I'm reflecting. I'm like, okay, Amber, I just turned 41. I got diagnosed when I was 33. So I'm reflecting back. And around that time, the guy that I believe gave me herpes had just ghosted me. So I was actually spending my birthday. I was pretty upset. And my girls had taken me to dinner and we were hitting different spots in my city. But deep down, I was kind of like sad and embarrassed and just, I looked so cute on the outside. Like back then, I was so into the outside of how I looked. And so aesthetically, I felt like so pretty, but on the inside I was distraught. So if I can find a picture, I'll insert it of kind of that weekend. But it was around August that I got the news that I had herpes. So I was just thinking about how I felt and all the things that I felt when I got diagnosed. I want to talk about that for a few minutes because the day I got diagnosed, it was over the phone and I was actually on a break from work. I owned a salon here in my hometown and I was in between clients in the back in the office eating my lunch, actually talking to my twin sister who owned the salon with me. And I got a call and it was from the doctor's office. And I would have bouts where I would go years without sleeping with anybody. But then I would finally sleep with somebody. If it didn't work out, then I would be at the doctor to get tested. I didn't require test results before we slept together. I would just go get tested on my own after, crossing my fingers, like literally playing Russian roulette, that I didn't get anything. So that's where I was. Oh, boy had ghosted me. I was like, okay, well, I guess we're done. So I was doing my usual, which was to get tested, and didn't have any symptoms, nothing was awry. This was kind of like, okay, let me get my peace of mind. Now that I done gave it up, let me get my peace of mind back. So the phone rang and it was them saying that they had some results to read. And I was like, okay, well, go ahead. Because at the time I was on birth control. So I was like, I know they ain't finna tell me I'm pregnant. And I didn't have any physical symptoms of an STD. So I was like, no, it ain't that. So she started reading the results and she went through a series of negatives. And then all of a sudden she said HSV1 negative, HSV2 positive. And I didn't even know that HSV meant herpes, but that's when I got the news over the phone. And I immediately, when I hung up the phone, my twin sister could tell that something was wrong. And she's like, what happened? I was like, fill in the blank. His nickname was Chicago because he was from Chicago. I was like, Chicago gave me herpes. And she was just like, oh, Amber, like, I'm so sorry. Like, she was just like, I'm so sorry. Like, I can't believe, like, I just remember her saying something along the lines of, a person that was so temporary left me with something so permanent, as in the diagnosis, because there's no known cure for herpes. So I told my sister immediately. Then I went outside and I called him. He answered the phone. I lost it and I told him. And I basically was like, well, let me call you when I get done with work, because I still had clients to take. So I ended up telling him. He's basically acting like he had no clue. He's like very apologetic. Amber, oh my God, like, I hope you don't think I did this on purpose. Like, very apologetic. And I was like, I don't know what to think. But I just remember being so embarrassed, so sad, feeling so gross, feeling immediately like my stock had just went down 1,000,000 points, feeling so mad at God, feeling so defeated, like feeling like, well, my life is over. I'm 33. I'm going to be single and I'm not going to have any kids. I'm going to be wanted by no man. My friends are not going to talk to me anymore. I'm going to be a leper. Let me just disappear. Like, that's what I was actually going through, y'all. So I think after the diagnosis, maybe the next day or two, I ended up putting in a group chat with my two best friends saying that I had herpes. And one of them wrote back and said, I have it too. Y'all, we had been friends for years at that point, and we had told each other things that I'm pretty sure we had only told each other, but my friends had never felt comfortable to even tell, like, us, her two best friends, that she also had herpes, because it was so taboo, it was so stigmatizing, and also she contracted it under a different set of circumstances. So it was more difficult for her to share. But one of my best friends was like, I have it too. The other one's like, oh my God, y'all, WTF, like, going through the normal emotions in the group chat. So I told my twin sister, I told the guy who I thought gave it to me, and I'm pretty sure I told my 2 friends within that first week. But it was a lot of crying. It was a lot of beating myself up. It was a lot of shame. It was a lot of woulda, coulda, shouldas, and negative self-talk. And I started Googling, of course, everything. I'm Googling, I'm looking up YouTube videos. Back then, it was 2020 or it was 2018 when I got diagnosed. It was nothing like the internet now, and it's only 2026. Like, it was hardly nobody on the internet talking about herpes. Like, the only herpes content was very much outdated. It was white people, respectfully. It was just nobody that I could relate to. And so I felt like I went through a lot of it alone. And then fast forward, I'm like, what happened next? What happened next? It ended up being that it was my diagnosis was the thing that forced me to do some self work that I had never done before. And it ended up being one of the, I say, biggest blessings of my life. It changed my life. It changed how I saw myself. It changed everything, and to the point to where in 2020 I put a video out on YouTube called Herpes Saved My Life, and it was a roller coaster from there. But all that to say is that I wish I would have saw someone on YouTube who looked remotely like me, talking, just existing, not in a puddle of tears, not hiding from shame or guilt or embarrassment or fear, who just literally would be like, it's gonna be okay, girl. It might not be okay at this very minute, but it is going to be okay, girl. Like, I wish I had somebody there to do that. And so that's hopefully what I could be for even if it's just one person. Because when I shared my testimony, herpes saved my life, it ended up touching so many people that from YouTube, people that actually I knew in my real life that approached me, that came up to me, that shared that they had been diagnosed too. It just made me realize how common herpes is, how many people have it, how, herpes does not necessarily even have to come from sex. It is a sexually transmitted disease or a sexually transmitted infection because it can be passed sexually, but it can also be passed non-sexually. And so just the stigma associated with it that I fell right into, because when I got diagnosed, I felt gross. I had no outbreaks. And just because you have outbreaks doesn't mean you're gross. But so many people, what they basically associate being gross with outbreaks, they associate herpes with outbreaks. I ain't even have no outbreaks. Most of the people who have herpes are asymptomatic. I didn't even know what asymptomatic was until I got diagnosed. So here I am with this virus, don't have any symptoms of. The only reason I knew I had it was because the doctor tested my blood, and I have the antibodies for the virus in my blood, meaning that at some point my body fought the virus off. Never had an outbreak, never had any symptoms to this day, because most people with herpes are asymptomatic. It's so common, as in it's such a common low threat virus that I feel like that's why it's so mishandled in the health community, because it's just, they're like, girl, there's so many other things you could be worried about right now. And so I get that, but again, it feels very real. It feels very painful. It feels very impactful when it actually happens to you. So I just wanted to share kind of on the eve of I guess this will be my 7th or 8th year. 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. Okay, so I'm coming up on 8 years diagnosed, like 8 years being herpes positive. And I hesitated even making content about it again, because I'm like, I don't have any symptoms. But I'm like, Amber, it doesn't matter. You don't have to have symptoms to share. So here I am, because again, from where I was when I got diagnosed to where I am now, only God could do that, because it was way beyond anything in the scope of my possibility on how much my life could have changed, again, for the positive from the diagnosis. So that's gonna be it for today's video. I'll be sure to make another one soon, but I appreciate y'all for watching. And for the new subscribers, welcome to my channel. I'm Amber, and this is where transparency, beauty, trust, faith, confidence, all that meet. So until next time, keep showing up, keep doing the work, and I'll see you on my next video.